Collective. Hello, hello, my loves. Welcome to Vivid Vibration. My name is Christina. I hope that y'all are going well, doing well, going well. Brave the journey. Everything's going well in your journeys. Let's read this one because we've not gotten this one before. Okay, 24 is the number. Now is the time to journey. Say yes, explore. It's time for travel, adventure, and the unknown. You travel not to discover new places, but to meet the new you created while experiencing those places. If it is not an outward journey beckoning, turn inward and explore the stunning vistas, lost horizons, and secret forests of the psyche. Living in the mind alone is akin to owning a castle, but restricting yourself to the broom closet. Don't settle for what others have told you of adventure. Pursue your own right now. There is only one way to unfold your own myth, and that is to be willing to brave the unknown. I love that. Well, because when you literally never know who you will meet, what they embody, and how they will affect you as a human being in life. There's no there's no manual for the call of the spirit. And I just feel like what is meant to be will reveal itself to you. And you will know that it is meant for you as it reveals itself to you, because it will embody who you are. It will embody your passions. It will embody your purpose. It will embody your drive, that thing that you're like, you know, whatever it is that makes you feel excited in that manner. We've all got, hopefully, and if you don't, you better find it. But, those things that just like set our soul on fire. And I just feel like this walking in directions that set your soul on fire. Like saying yes to the opportunities that present themselves as the path unfolds. Beautiful, beautiful. Love, love, love. Okay, Eight of Pentacles and the Emperor. Well, I mean, it's a game of mastery, right? And I feel like we've discussed this idea before, but when you're walking on faith, and the idea of people who are like, and again, this is not to knock my type A's, because I love my type A's. I'm so grateful for my type A's. The point of conflict is when there's a sense, like a false sense of superiority, because I think that, while, like preparedness offers you a sense of control as you go into the situation, like the trueness of mastery of faith is walking in faith, is trusting that, like spirit will provide for you as you progress. Because it's only when we form attachments to things that aren't meant to be that we get dragged back and detoured from our true calling, from our true purpose, right? And so I just kind of feel like there's this idea of you've mastered the skill of walking in faith. Now see what happens in this new endeavor. You know what I mean? See, like, watch what happens next. Well, I think it's fun. I don't know. In my life personally, I find that I have like names that are, or like general themes. I want to say last year, everything that the school that I went to was called Empower. The job that I worked at after the school shut down was through Empower, or I worked at Empower Field doing like football games. It was fun. And then, like other catering events, but Empower was like the theme of that year. And it's been interesting to me to like bear witness to, because sometimes they feel like little markers of titles to me more than anything else. But I can always recognize that, and like, so that every next step that I take, I always take note of like the name of the direction that I'm walking in. because it always, like, to me, that's just like spirit, like giggling with me. And then I always end up tying that back into story, and how does that relate in the context of story, and where is that marker at in the story? You know what I mean? Like, it's my own little calculations that I pull for me, that have served as a purpose and a journey of my, like moving forward through the journey, and mastering the art of the game of life in terms of purpose. That's fun. I love that for all of us. Okay. Clarifiers. The world. Yeah. Is that Green Day? Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. Yeah, I just feel like, well, I mean, in terms of braving a journey, especially one that is an embodiment of walking on faith, oftentimes you'll receive a lot of mockery for that, right? I mean, that's not traditional, that's not controlled, that's not, like calculated, like according to whose rules and whose, perspectives and understandings, but it's not their journey, so it's not theirs to understand, right? We are under no obligation to share the private, intimate moments of our journey with spirit with others. Like that is sacred, not something to just be dished out to the masses. And I feel like, like the idea that that was ever really like a privilege that was held is so absurd. You know what I mean? And we've had to walk through the journey of understanding that, whether you were, you know, wherever you were in the journey. But this is for, the ones who have faith, the ones who are able to master their gifts, master their character, master their understanding, strengthen their susceptibilities, because there are a lot of people out there who are just super susceptible to some shit, and that's just telling of their level of strength, right? Where is that weakness? You might want to work on that. But I think there's an understanding that, like, the biggest, like, for any sense of alignment, no matter what in life, is it upsetting to you? Is it annoying you? Is it angering you? Is it leaving you feeling less than what you are? You know what I mean? Like, ask yourself all of those questions. Those are all of the things that need to go. And it's so funny to me, it's like toxic relationships that just keep wanting to come back, and you're just like, ugh, like that is not a cycle that I choose to repeat in my life. Um, but then what? Everybody's like, well, I think of, like, okay, so if you're dating in a small town, because this is a huge thing in small towns, and it's legit too, but there is like a sense of pressure in, like, finding who your person is, because it's almost like the sense of being chosen. It feels very, like, anchored in this, like, Victorian mentality of spinster life. You know what I mean? Like, so say you don't want to hand over your freedom because of an idea of being a spinster, like what an antiquated mentality to operate from. But it's a mentality that people operate from, all the same. And there are those of us who don't function that way. We step outside. We journey through the life that has been gifted to us. And we learn the lessons that we need to learn along the way, and we have gratitude for the people that we encounter along the way, and we master the art of discernment, so that when we are stepping forward onto the journey that we are intended to build our life in, it is one that fills us with passion, fills us with joy, fills us with excitement, because that is when you know alignment is. You know, it's super simple though, right? It's super simple, but man, it seems really difficult for people sometimes. And if you struggle with it, but you're doing it anyways, good job. You're going to get it. You're going to develop that muscle. You're going to develop that strength. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, it always falls back to the individual. You are the captain of your own ship. Okay. Yeah, unless you're a co-captain of the ship of sheep. Yeah. Four of Pentacles. I mean, this is kind of coming through to me. I mean, it has, obviously, all of the cards have dual meanings. But right now it's reading as this idea of like, well, creating home, but I almost feel like there being this sense of something, like a sense of comfort that was really limiting to you, and leaving that, making that decision to, rise above that so that you can really, I think, attain the goals that you've worked so hard to attain. Align yourself with the things that scream alignment to you instead of screaming belligerent hatred. You know what I mean? Like the massive difference, of alignment versus misalignment, I feel like has just become such a stark image, you know, that it's like, yeah, like it just had a massive spotlight. Because the path is not to be chosen by people who are not meant to be on the path. So you end things that need not be and go in the directions that embody like the level of passion that you embody the level of desire and truth and understanding. Leaving behind the misalignments, the very obviously misalignments, and going in the directions that you're meant to go. I think with great precision, with like a full body understanding. Of what it is that really incites passion. Well, yeah, I mean, because so imagine with me, if you will, scenarios of groups of people, right? Even if you have like different friend groups, and your friend groups don't intermingle, but they're all, like, it's not like hate or whatever. It's just, like these people are into, mountain biking, and these people are into dance, and these people are into writing. You know what I mean? Like, it's more of like just different, just different. There are going to be ones that you like, if you're moving in another direction. I feel like you're moving in a direction that embodies like what you're passionate about, right? Say like you had all these hobbies, and so you met all these people. I mean, the networking world as it works. But while you enjoyed all these hobbies didn't define you. They didn't align with you, not truly. You felt like, like there was a lot of tension over here. There was a lot of, competition over here. There's a lot of, like just general judgment here. You know what I mean? Like none of it like sat with you fully, but you enjoyed it as it were. I feel like there's this sense of like leaving all of those things behind, because enjoying things as they were is not an embodiment of what you will be. And I think that any sense of comfort that you had has now become very uncomfortable to you. What felt like a cozy blanket now feels like a straitjacket. You know, it's just kind of like this, I can't do this anymore. I have to go in this direction. I have to do this next thing. I've mastered an art that needs to be taken to the next level, with people, places, and things that are not corrupt, that do not embody corruption. Two of spades, that one came popping out. It said, me. The star ensures success in all enterprises when near, when very distant, some unlucky events. Well, again, you know, like if you are the kind of person who is more interested in being comfortable than releasing the things that were fine as they were, but didn't feed your soul, then you will, you know, I think find yourself in the land of things that are fine as they were, riddled with a whole lot of emotions about it, I'm sure. And if you're not one of those people, then you're starting that next journey. You're starting that next endeavor of things yet to be discovered. You know, like walking on faith, trusting in spirit, trusting in yourself. You know, practicing discernment, allowing the ends to come that need to come, and setting on your way. And I love everything about that. Blessings on our journeys. Yeah, yeah. We got two. Bubble your boundaries and garden the heart. Well, yeah, the Argonaut girl. But know your boundaries, hold your boundaries, because if you don't hold the boundaries, you can't garden the heart. Because you'll just be too busy dealing with the trash, you know? So bubble your boundaries and garden your passions, garden your heart, garden your purpose, and breathe easy knowing that it's not going to be riddled with trash. So love that for all of us. If this does resonate, please do give me a like, share, and subscribe, and I will see y'all again soon. Bye.